These are the plaintiffs, Joseph Nieves and Janira Rivera. Janira says they lived with the defendants while they were in between places. And let's just say things didn't go so well. The defendants constantly smoked weed. They got into an argument. They left, and the defendants refused to give them back their belongings, then tossed them in the garbage. That's so not right and not fair. So they're here suing them for the $3,030 they're now owed. These are the defendants, Eusebio Nieves and Brianna Chartier. Brianna says the plaintiffs were only going to stay with them for a month, but then didn't have any money to move out. They were also supposed to pay them $200 in rent, which they never paid. As far as the belongings go, they picked up their stuff with a police escort, and if anyone's owed money today, it certainly isn't the plaintiffs. They're accused of throwing it all away. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $1,000 for unpaid rent and utilities.
Okay. All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Joseph Nieves and Yenaida Rivera, you are suing Joseph's brother Eusebio Nieves and Brianna Chartier for $3,030 in items that you say they maliciously got rid of that belonged to you. You have a counterclaim against them for $1,000 in rent. Talk to me and tell me what's going on.
Around January, we had nowhere to go, so Joseph
Why did you have nowhere to go?
Because I recently lost my apartment.
Okay.
So Joseph spoke to his brother and asked him if we could stay there for a few till we gathered some money.
For a few what?
A few months.
How long did you end up staying there, though?
About 2.5, 3 months.
So what happens? Apparently there's a big blowout.
Well, she didn't like staying there at all because they'd always have people over, sleeping over, and, you know, I didn't really like it either, but it's not my house, I can't say anything. So we had a little discussion about it. He heard it, and he's like, he knocks on the door, oh, keep it down or I'm gonna kick yous out. So at that point, I was just like, I'm leaving. And that's just basically what happened.
Did he hear the content of the discussion? What was she saying?
The whole situation was weird because that same day I had came into the house and I had told him something about her going away for 3 days and messing around with some guy. So I guess she had got mad because of that. So then he was mad, they were arguing. So she started saying, oh, see, this is why I don't like staying here. There's people here all the time and this, and that. So I was like...
Wait. Okay. So you had told him that same day that she was stepping out on him?
Yeah.
And how had you learned that?
Well, she was on the phone with a friend of hers.
And you overheard it?
Yeah, we overheard it.
So then you told him?
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell your brother, and then your brother and she are having a fight?
Argument.
Okay. And then you guys leave, and what happens? What happens to the stuff?
Because we couldn't grab everything, obviously, so we grabbed what we could grab, which wasn't much, and we left. It was like probably 12:30 at night.
All right. Now, the next day, who is it that makes contact with them regarding the belongings? All right, and who is it you make, both of you do?
Yeah.
Who makes first contact? Who do you make contact with?
I texted her and I told her I was gonna go pick up my stuff, and she said right here on the text message.
Let me see that. Who's, you're the girlfriend, and who's the gentleman sitting there?
This is my uncle.
Is it his uncle too?
Yes.
Okay.
He's also our roommate.
Oh, okay.
So the agreement was between all of us as a whole because it's not just our apartment, it's also his too.
Okay. What was the agreement that you guys arrived at?
We told them they were only supposed to stay a month. They weren't supposed to stay as long as they did. The original agreement was that they were going to stay a month and get back on, because supposedly they had money coming their way or they had money in the bank and they were supposed to get an apartment. And that didn't end up happening in a month. So we had made a verbal agreement, all of us together, and we said they were going to pay $200 a month plus utilities, food, and toiletries.
If they wanted to stay past that month?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. And was $200 ever paid?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. And so apparently, Eusebio, your brother delivers a little bit of news that according to what he heard, your girlfriend was stepping out on you, correct? All right, so did you confront your girlfriend about that?
Yes, I did.
And what happened there?
We just had a discussion, and we basically just cleared the air that nothing ever really happened. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have a baby?
Yes.
How old's the baby?
He's
About to be a
be
year old.
1.
Okay. You guys leave that night, and you didn't like being there, United, is it? United?
Yes.
You didn't like being there because what?
There was always like people, like 3, 4 friends every night, smoking marijuana, music up with a baby there and all that, and I didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable. When I was in my house, I didn't have a say. So that's why I always was in the room. In the bedroom, I would never come out. And then when I did leave, I would take the baby with me because they would want me to take the baby so they could sleep all day after all that.
Okay. Now, you reach out the next day when you guys moved out and said what?
That, like normally.
Did you
like,
find the text?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally, that I was going to go pick up my stuff, and that's when she wrote that.
Hey, I could care less if you call me a whore or whatever, but don't ever call me a no-good mother. When was this texting back and forth?
That was,
The next day or much later?
I believe it was the night that they left because.
Okay. So don't ever say, I am a no-good mother. I take care of my son. And while I'm at it, anyone want to tell me how I caused you guys to fight? I hardly said 2 words to anyone today. That's you talking, right?
Yes.
Not going to deal with people messaging OJ talking about getting the cops involved, because at some point somebody messaged you and said we're getting a police escort. Why did it have to get to that level? Like, we're getting a police escort to get our stuff. Why didn't you just get your stuff?
Because they wouldn't let us.
They wouldn't let us.
They basically.
Why wouldn't you let them have their stuff? Like, why did police have to get involved?
I told them that we had things to do and no one was going to be home because they were supposed to be
Yeah,
at
let's talk
work.
about this. Don't bother showing up today. You can have the TV, but you will come to my house on my terms. And we have things to do today and won't be home, and neither will Noonie. That's the uncle?
That's the uncle.
So I'll let you know when there's a suitable time for you to come by my house.
So what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is that, let me tell you what's wrong. How old are you?
23.
Okay. I'm going to teach you, first of all, sassy pants, who looks at a judge who's wearing a black robe and says, so what's wrong with that? Let me tell you what's wrong with that, okay? Because you just came into the world. You are a baby, okay? You have a baby with that man. That man is that guy's brother years before you came on the scene. It is in your best interest and your child's best interest to have a peaceful family. So digging in and showing Canis Mas Macho is not a good idea. Even if, don't smile and chicken neck, because I'm about to get to you. Even if she says, we're bringing police to get our stuff, because I know that the we're getting police to get our stuff had to come from somewhere. Now, the police come that night?
We have the
No,
police
we
report.
actually, when we left, I told him right before I left that night, I said, I'll be here in the morning to get my stuff. He knew I had to work because I just started working that week.
Right.
So when I go to work, while we're at work, we had to leave early just to try to get our stuff because we knew that they were going to do something with it. So
Why would you know that?
Because he wrote it
because
right
she
here.
said that. And
You
we
got
weren't-
that text in the middle of the day?
in the morning when I said, hey, I'm gonna be there right after work to grab my things.
And this is on your phone, actually.
Yeah.
Call the cops, LOL. They can't do anything? You're not coming to my house starting drama. Bye. I'll do exactly what I did to Jesse's stuff. Bring it to a dumpster you can't get to. Like I said, cops ain't doing
And after
blank.
that,
Blank.
we didn't
What's
hear
that?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if you move into somebody's house and sign a lease and they smoke weed every night, are you allowed to break the lease and move out and get your money back?
Well, I can't because it wasn't in the contract. And
It's not in the contract. It doesn't say
I have no
anything.
right to do that. I have no right to say anything.
You say, I'm allergic to smoke. I can't stand it, and I don't want to get high by secondary smoke.
That's a bummer, but you did move into the house and you signed the lease.
Well, doesn't the landlord have an obligation to tell me something?
Yes, the landlord has an obligation to tell you so.
Suppose the landlord didn't say anything, but the landlord smokes weed every night.
Say that again?
Suppose the landlord didn't tell you, but the landlord smokes weed every night.
Yeah.
Can you break the lease?
Yes, you can break the lease.
Suppose the landlord smokes cigarettes every night, but didn't tell you he smoked cigarettes. Could you break the lease?
Yes, you can break the lease.
Really? Suppose the landlord drinks beer every night.
Any lease you want to break.
No, you can't. Going inside the courtroom.
What'd you do to Jesse?
Jesse lived with us too at one point, and she got kicked out.
And? What'd you do with her stuff, sweetheart? I think you know what I'm asking.
We threw it away.
You what?
We threw it away.
So you tell her on the day after they leave that you're gonna throw her stuff away.
Yes.
Did you?
No.
What'd you do?
I didn't touch their stuff. I left.
What
with the
happened to all
baby.
their stuff?
We put it on the porch and we went back upstairs, me and my uncle.
So you got some of your stuff.
No. We just got the TV and it was
And it
broken.
was broken, yes.
The way the police report reads, he further stated he told Eusebio he was moving out, and Eusebio said to them that he put their belongings in the back hallway. What back hallway?
The back hallway in our apartment. We put.
Outside or inside?
It's still inside, but. It's in the
Then we
hallway.
made our way upstairs, says the police officer, at which time Joseph stated in front of me to Eusebio that several items were missing. Not everything's missing, that several items were missing, that were left there by him and Rivera. These items include clothing belonging to both of them, a part of an engagement ring, and an iPad Air 3. And then the TV was cracked. Was the TV cracked before?
No, it was hanging on the wall.
Who
That's
took the
ridiculous.
TV down?
Me and him.
Did you crack it?
No.
Well, then why was it cracked in their absence? You're the guys who, I mean, if anybody's gonna, it was hanging on the wall and you guys took it down and it's cracked now. Who am I gonna look at?
It was fine.
When we put it down.
According to the police officer, it was cracked. I mean, yes. I took a picture of it because it was cracked. They stated it was not in that condition when they had it. So somebody cracked it. Did you crack it out of anger?
No.
So tell me, what did you do with Jesse's stuff? Took it to a dump that they couldn't get to? So why shouldn't I believe that that's what you did with their missing items when you are point blank in a telephone saying that? What was missing?
All our sneakers, jeans, shirts, part of my engagement ring.
What part of your engagement ring?
It was like, the engagement ring has like 2 parts, so one of it was in the house.
What part? Can you describe it a little better than you're doing?
The diamond part, where it had the diamond. The band, basically, the band.
Okay.
That's what was missing. And my iPad Air, which wasn't mine, it was my son's.
Do you have the receipt for the engagement ring? How are you going to prove up the value of the stuff you're saying?
It's been because we knew how much it was. It's been more than a year. That's why stuff that
I mean,
we
not even
had
the
for
engagement
one-
ring?
Huh?
How long have you had the engagement ring?
For like 2 years.
Oh, what do you know, what's the point of that? All right, and so the iPad?
iPad Air 3, gone. Our sneakers, our undergarments, cosmetics, everything.
Okay. You have a bag of some stuff. What does that bag contain?
Mostly.
There's clothes, cosmetics, and some VR system that they had, a virtual reality system that they had.
Okay, and then you also have something else still there, but you were afraid that it would break in
Yes.
transit. What
they
is
have
that?
some mirrors.
What kind of mirrors?
One's like a big circle mirror, and then one is like one of those long stand-up
Do you
ones.
know what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will make arrangements that do not put you guys together to be able to get those mirrors from point A to point B, okay? That bag that's down there, please hand that over to them. All right, so when you tell them that you're gonna do what you did to Jesse's, tell me again why I shouldn't believe that's exactly what you did? Because you took their sister's stuff and threw it in a dump that she couldn't get to?
I was just angry that Joseph was calling me a whore and a no-good mother and things like that. So, you know, I said something that I thought would hurt them.
I tell my children all the time, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. It's the one single worst thing in this case, in evidence against you. Both of you have to realize that they're brothers and that they should be able to have a relationship that doesn't depend on how the women in their lives get along. And you as a mother, you're a new mother, let me tell you, the more people who love your child, the happier your child will be. Family is everything when you're raising a child. I am going to order for the missing items $1,000 to be paid to the plaintiffs. However, I'm also going to order the plaintiffs to pay 2 months of rent on the counterclaim. I'm going to deduct $400, and that would be a net judgment in favor of the plaintiffs in the amount of $600. Good luck, folks.
So the judge gives everybody a little bit of advice in this case. The defendants have come out of the courtroom. You will get a little bit for rent, but you're going to have to give them $600. That's what the judgment is. You know, this just turned into a big mess, didn't it? You admit that.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you something. I'm interested in the relationship between you and your brother. How has that been affected?
How has it been affected?
Yeah.
The simple fact that, you know, we can't come to an agreement through all this, you know, because we we have a lot of bad family history, and my mother just passed, so, you know, me and my brother, like, basically the only people we have left. But with this whole situation, I just feel like, you know, it just sucks, you know?
I mean, have you been close before?
I mean, he's my brother. We always gonna bump heads and stuff like that, but, you know, we recently have been getting close, and it kind of just disintegrated, so, you know, it does suck a lot.
So what do you think for the future? What do you think's going to happen?
I'm not really sure. Hopefully we can be all right and move forward, so.
Well, good luck to you. All right, thank you very much. All right, you must sign a few documents outside. Here come the plaintiffs now. You know, I want to ask you the same thing. Come here. I want to ask that I just asked your brother. This whole situation, a mess between all of you. You know that.
Definitely.
But what about the relationship with your brother? How do you feel about it right
I
now?
love him. He's my brother. I mean, I don't like her, so I guess.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, not at all.
I don't think she likes you.
If he wants to call me, talk to me, he could. Anytime I can help him, I'm more than willing.
So there's hope.
Of course, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good enough. Okay. Another one of those family situations, Harvey.
Okay, I mean, to avoid all this stuff, what you should do is make this clear in the lease. If you're allergic to smoke, if you don't like smoke, you know people do smoke, cigarettes, weed, whatever. Just make it clear in the lease moving in. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.